Hello again, it's Jordan. Welcome back to AfroLivity. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded, but no worries, I'm back again. Obviously quite a bit has happened recently, especially last week, the release of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Go and watch that film if you haven't watched it already. It is fantastic. One of the best Marvel, just superhero films I've seen, period. I'm not going to say any more. Don't want to be blamed for spoilers in the comments or anything like that. So make sure you go and see it in the cinema before it's out. Anyway, back to the topic of the video. Today I'm going to be talking through 7 superfoods. So 7 brilliant plants that are super cheap and are incredibly nutritious and healthy for your body. So number 1 is garlic. Now, garlic is pretty much in most people's dishes in some form. It might be in a sauce, you might chop it up. I mean, some people even have it raw. And yeah, so where do I even begin? Garlic, it's full of vitamins. It boosts your immune function. It's great for cardiovascular health. It basically helps your blood flow a lot more efficiently. And on top of that, there's a really great compound that is formed when you crush garlic called allicin. And allicin is extremely potent. It's got anti-cancerous properties. If you want allicin in your garlic, you should either consume it raw, or if you do cook it, make sure you crush it or chop it up finely and leave it for about 10 minutes before putting it into your dish. This is because the allicin is actually formed when you crush the garlic. The enzyme which creates it, alliinase, comes into contact with some of the compounds in the garlic and it creates allicin. So you need to leave the garlic aside to create that compound. Then you can cook it really much to your heart's content, because allicin is quite heat resistant, so you're not going to lose those properties. And on top of that, garlic has great antibacterial and antiviral properties from across the world, from ancient Egypt, ancient China. All civilizations have used it to combat bacterial and viral infections. And one of the best things about garlic is that it doesn't kill your healthy bacteria if you consume it. It targets the pathogenic ones, so make sure you eat more garlic. Now, number 2 is broccoli. Now, what makes broccoli so incredible is that it belongs to this group of vegetables called the cruciferous vegetables. So like broccoli, cauliflower, kale and the like. Basically, these vegetables have all kinds of benefits in them. I can't list all of them here, but one of my favorites from broccoli is it's got this really great detoxifying compound called sulforaphane. Similar to garlic, where it's not actually within the broccoli, you have to chop it up or chew it, and then the enzyme, the myrosinase enzyme, comes into contact with some glucosinates, and that creates what we know is sulforaphane, and that is one of the most, it's the most potent sort of detoxifying compound that our liver uses. So make sure, of course, we need to detox our bodies every day. We need to get rid of byproducts from what we eat and just general day-to-day function. So why not help yourself along with some sulforaphane? Now again, with garlic, if you actually want the sulforaphane, you've either got to eat broccoli raw, which is not the most pleasant experience, or if you cook it, there are 2 options. You can chop your broccoli up and leave it, this time a bit longer, maybe closer to 40 minutes. This will give the enzyme enough time to act on the broccoli to produce your sulforaphane. Or if you don't have time for that, cook your broccoli and add some mustard powder, powdered mustard seeds, or some raw radishes to your dish. All of these contain the enzyme myrosinase, and this basically makes up for the enzyme that gets destroyed when you cook broccoli. Of course, when you're adding this enzyme back in, make sure you don't end up cooking the mustard seeds or the mustard powder or the radishes, because again, you'll destroy the enzymes that you're trying to replace. On top of that, broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables, once you digest them, there's a compound that they release which actually boosts your immune function within your gastrointestinal tract. So make sure you eat more broccoli and cruciferous veg in general. The next one is potatoes. So all variants of potatoes, whether they're just regular white ones or orange, purple, sweet potatoes, whatever it is, these are incredible. Now, potatoes actually provide every single nutrient that you need to stay healthy. They're one of the few foods in the world that people can actually live off. So very strangely, in 1925 there was a study done on 1 man and 1 woman whose activity levels were equivalent to marathon runners, and essentially they were fed a diet of primarily white potatoes for 6 months. Because they were so active, they gave them some extra calories in the form of just pure oil, so not nutritionally beneficial, There's nothing in it but calories, but it's just to help them get that extra edge. But all that aside, they spoke to the participants 6 months later and they found that neither one of the 2 participants tired of the diet. They were in great health, and they actually, funny enough, derived all the protein that they needed from the potatoes. So I don't necessarily recommend everybody go on an all potato diet, but you know, should you ever be in that position, you know where to go. Number 4, legumes. So this is technically not one food, but the whole group is too important for me to not go into. All of these foods are nutritional powerhouses, full of carbohydrates, full of protein, full of fiber, phytonutrients. They promote gastrointestinal health. For example, when you break down beans in your lower intestine, so where all basically the magic happens with your gut, there are loads of really great compounds produced that help your body in so many ways that I can't even list. But yeah, there's also a study actually that was done quite recently on different populations around the world, Japan, Sweden, Greece and Australia, and they found that independent of all the other dietary factors, that legumes were associated with longevity and healthier, longer lives more than anything else. Whether that's people in Japan who maybe eat soy, tofu, miso, that sort of thing, or in the Mediterranean where they've got lentils, chickpeas, or brown beans in Sweden, whatever it is, all of these foods, they all promoted long-term longevity and good health. So make sure you're eating beans. I eat them every day. You know, there are a lot of people who don't eat beans literally just because they're afraid of flatulence. But if you actually look at the science, if you actually try eating beans, if you're coming from a very meat-heavy, sort of low-fiber diet, then maybe the first few days you may end up having more gas and maybe a bit more bloating, but that's because your gut is now adjusting. The gut microbiome, so the bacteria that do all your digesting, the population's changed, so it shifts to plant-based instead of flesh-eating. And once your gut is then in a position that is used to eating beans, if you started and you did have some gas, then it's just not going to be there in the long term. I eat loads of legumes and I don't have that issue. So it's definitely something that your body will adjust to in time. So do not let that be a reason why you stop eating some of the healthiest food on the planet. Number 5, berries. Now berries, I'd argue, just from the science, that they're the healthiest fruit on the planet. Now they are packed full of antioxidants. So essentially in our body, through natural processes and the like, there are these free radicals which go around and they cause a lot of oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is linked to so many different issues within the body, from heart disease to certain types of cancer. So berries are really great because these antioxidant properties basically go around as a cleansing system, and they help remove free radicals from the body and they reduce our exposure to damage caused by them. Furthermore, there are all these other nutrients, phytonutrients, minerals and vitamins that you can get abundantly in berries. They taste great, and also you can use them to help blunt blood sugar spikes. Number 6, flax seeds. Now I've talked about flax before. Flax seeds, great source of omega-3s, of fiber, also of these things called lignans. Lignans are extremely powerful anti-cancerous compounds. Flax seeds have the highest concentration of lignans in any food that we would eat commonly, and on top of that they also have great benefits on hormonal balances and basically cardiovascular health, you name it. Flax seeds, make sure that they're a common part of your diet. If you're eating flax, I'd recommend you grind it before you eat it so that you actually get the benefits, because the shell itself you cannot digest through, but once you break the shell, either chewing the flax seeds, which can be a bit laborious, or grinding them up in a coffee grinder or something, then your body can really just, you know, get the real benefit from the food, you know, get the most out of it, and that's what we want. And number 7 has to be the most important group, the whole grains. So the starches. Every successful civilization in human history has built its diet around starches. So it's either potatoes, as I mentioned earlier, you've either got wheat, barley, rye, oats, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, millet, sorghum, anything that is starchy. All of these things have at some point played a pivotal role in human development, be it East Africans who lived off sorghum, and or other parts of Africa where they ate millet. And they're fantastic African civilizations and fantastic African history dating back thousands of years. These people fueled themselves, fueled their minds, fueled their creativity with plants. Again, you go to ancient Rome. Roman gladiators were vegans. They ate a diet primarily of barley with some vegetables and fruit. And they actually complained to their leaders at certain points when food was scarce and they had to eat meat. They felt that they couldn't compete as well and they wanted their old diets of barley to return. So meat was never a thing that people wanted to eat. These whole grains, these are the real foods. So yeah, that's all for me today. Those are 7 of my favorite foods from the plant kingdom. Of course, there's so many more, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet and just practical. Easy foods. You notice they're all really cheap and they're all really accessible. And they all taste great. So make sure you eat more of these foods. Unlock the real potential of the human body by eating plant foods and not animals, because the science says that we are herbivores. So that's all for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, make sure leave some comments below for your favorite foods. Give this a like, comment, share, subscribe, and yeah, keep on showing the love and support that you've already been doing, and I'll see you in my next video. One love, bless up.